Today I'm going to show you guys how you can check your transmission fluid in a C7 Corvette with an A8 transmission. It goes for the Camaros as well with the same A8 transmission. Right here you have a plug in the bottom of the pan. Now the way you need to check this, it's similar to the old style transmissions like the C5s and stuff, however without the side plug. Now it's actually in the top of the pan. They made a recessed area. So what you got to do is you have to warm the transmission up. Once you have that transmission warmed up, you're going to go ahead and pull that plug out. Any residual fluid that leaks out will eventually slow to a trickle, and that's when the level is set correctly. In this case right now, we're going to drop this pan, we're going to change the filter, and we're going to add a bunch of fluid. So if you have to add fluid to it, I'll show you where you got to put it. On the passenger side of the transmission, if you look closely, see if I can get it on camera here, right there.
Isn't that wonderful?
You will see the fill plug. It's kind of like a Christmas tree with a push head, so you got to actually pry up on that, and then you can get the fill plug to release. That hole is very similar to what you'd find on a normal transmission with a dipstick tube. There it is. There's our plug right there. If your lock pops out, you can go ahead and just throw that back in. When this top switch is pressed in, this bottom part swells. When it pulls out, it allows this whole thing to slide out of the transmission. So when you're done, you're going to top it off. You're going to slide that back in and just press this down. It snaps in place. So in order to get this pan off, we're going to have to take up the bolts around the perimeter. So right now we're going to jack the transmission up, and we are going to loosen up the trans mounts. You have a bolt here and a bolt here. Same goes on the other side. So let's get that done. When you're lifting the bottom of the pan for the transmission lifting to get these rear bolts out, use a very broadly flat, either piece of wood, something with a big surface area, because you don't want to dent in this pan. The filter's right above the bottom of that pan.
What the heck is that?
So here are the parts you're going to need. We've got about 8 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic. You need to get the LV ATF HP specifically. The dealer basically has a bulletin out for torque converter shutter, and they recommend switching to this Mobil 1 fluid. You're going to want to pick up a gasket. They say that the gasket is reusable. if it does not stick to the transmission, are you really going to take that chance? It's I believe it's like a $30 gasket, so might as well get a new one. So there's the part number 24260071. And of course we've got the transmission filter, part number 24274402. Let's open this thing up. There's the filter. Alright, so we're going to clean the pan, we're going to pull the magnets off and clean all the metal debris. Here's the pan gasket. It's actually pretty good shape right there. They got anti-crush washers in there so you can't accidentally screw it up. I'm sure if you really start hammering the torque on these things you can mess them up, but yeah, it only goes on one way. It's got little locating dowel pins, that's kind of nice. If only the oil pans had actual gaskets. Pretty nice. So I'm not going to risk it, you know, for the cost of a new gasket. Might as well just get a new one. But in a pinch, you could get by, so long as it doesn't stick to the transmission. So do not put RTV on this, please.